When you think about cats, you might think of them as pets, or perhaps you associate them with superstitions like black cats crossing your path. But did you know that throughout history, these animals have been the target of fear, hatred, and even genocide? Today, we're diving into one of the most surprising and dark aspects of history, the mass killing of cats across different time periods and regions. Let's begin with Pope Gregory IX, who held the papacy during the 13th century. In 1233, he issued a papal decree that linked black cats to devil worship. The idea stemmed from reports by his investigator, Conrad of Marburg, who believed that during satanic rituals, people would worship a large black cat. This fear of cats, especially black ones, wasn't just about superstition, it reflected the deep religious anxieties of the time, where anything associated with the devil had to be eradicated. So, under the Pope's influence, many cats, especially black ones, were killed across Europe. Now, here's where it gets interesting. By killing off so many cats, Europe unknowingly worsened its health crisis. Cats, as natural predators of rats, could have controlled the rodent population. Instead, the number of rat carriers of the fleas that spread the plague exploded. Historians argue that this mass extermination of cats may have contributed to the spread of the Black Death. Fast forward to 18th century France. In a Parisian printing workshop, we have a story that seems almost absurd. A group of German printers, frustrated by their poor working conditions, took their anger out on the workshop's cats in what is now known as the Great Cat Massacre. The event wasn't just a random act of cruelty, it symbolized the workers' resentment towards their masters. The master's wife loved the cats, and by killing them, the workers were making a statement against the unjust treatment they were facing. It became a bizarre form of protest, illustrating the class tensions that existed at the time. This massacre may seem extreme to us today, but it gives us insight into how people in history used symbolism and violence to express their frustrations with the systems of power above them. During World War II, fear and uncertainty led to one of the most tragic episodes in British history, often referred to as the British Pet Massacre. As war loomed, the British government issued guidelines suggesting that people should euthanize their pets if they couldn't care for them during air raids or food shortages. In the early days of the war, around 750,000 pets were put down in a matter of days. The fear of bombings and scarcity led to a mass euthanasia that, in hindsight, wasn't necessary. While the government intended to prevent suffering, the emotional toll on pet owners was immense, and this event has been looked back on with deep regret. This incident shows how fear, uncertainty, and official guidance can lead to drastic, sometimes irrational decisions. Unlike in Europe, where superstition plays a major role, the cat problem in Australia is more environmental. Feral cats are an invasive species that seriously threaten native wildlife. Since European settlers introduced cats, they've caused the extinction of several species of birds and small mammals. In response, the Australian government has implemented large-scale culling programs to reduce the feral cat population. This is done not out of superstition but to protect the country's unique biodiversity. However, this culling is controversial. Animal rights activists have pushed back, arguing for more humane methods. Finally, let's look at one of the most brutal practices from the medieval period, the burning of cats, often as part of public festivals. In several European cities, during events like midsummer celebrations, cats were captured, tortured, and burned alive. This wasn't just random cruelty. Cats, especially black ones, were linked to witchcraft and the devil, much like Pope Gregory IX's earlier decree. By burning cats, people believed they were purifying their communities of evil. It was a mix of superstition and symbolic violence.